So I'm making this video for the guild so we have a better idea on what we're going to be doing for the elite raid in 2 days. The basic strategy here is first I want to debunk a couple of ideas that people just didn't know. The first one is that the skills aren't completely random. And this first part of the video is going to be demonstrating that you can sit here for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and do this raid as many times as you want. The same skills are always going to come out from these giants until a different threshold of their HP is reached. And you'll see that as we go through this video. And then the second part of the video is going to have an actual raid footage that was provided to me by the Freak, and so I appreciate him a lot. One thing I want to demonstrate besides these two skills is these two giants, when they're close together, they're going to have a beam. So the first thing we have to tackle as a raid is keeping these two giants separated from each other. This black giant here, the Necro one, only takes physical damage, and when you attack it during its invulnerable state of activating an arena-wide skill, it will do counter damage back to you. It'll take no damage, and it'll deal damage back to you. The main giant that you'll remember from the earlier in the season raid, he only takes magical damage. So he's pretty easy to deal with. You can also safely attack him during the skill activations, and he won't do counterattack damage back to you. So to go ahead and separate these giants, we're going to have all the archers or cavalry start on the left side of the arena. You'll recall at the beginning, the Necro starts on the left and the regular giant starts on the right. You're not going to be able to see it in this first half of the video as well, but every time they finish one of these skills, the giants rotate places. So during the skill, not only do you have to dodge the ability, but you also want to have your entire army move from either the mages go from the right to the left, then after the next skill go from the left to back to the right. That way they can maintain aggro on the same giant, their corresponding giant, the entire raid. Ideally, we're going to be looking at, there's a 50-man raid, so we're going to be looking for about either 44 archers / cavalry, and then 4 mages, and then probably 2 tanks. The tanks don't necessarily have to be infantry. We might just have like 1 primary mage tank and 1 primary cavalry tank on the left, and then some off tanks for the mages in case because it's going to be so small on the right side with only 5 players, in case something happens in one of these abilities and the tank isn't able to tank anymore, just to keep the momentum going. He'll have probably about 4 backups with him, depending on who we get to the raid have on hand to work with. The point of this is because archers overall do more single target damage than the mages. Mages are more for area of effect, which in this you're not going to be doing any area of effect abilities because there's only 1 boss separated at a time. And so we're going to maximize our damage by going as many archers / cavalry as we can. The 2 abilities you're going to see in this phase is, of course, this quadrant here. And here we're going to begin the actual footage. So you see we're separated into 2 categories. And the first ability is, of course, this beams. So as it triggers, you're just going to stay in your quadrant. And this is the easiest one because this is just going to automatically, if you just follow it, it's going to push you all the way what you're supposed to be doing. Go into the opposite corner. They will spawn, they will trade places, and then you just continue attacking your giant. The main thing is that this just kills time from the clock. So you have to stay focused on the time that you can actually do damage. And you're not going to see it in this raid, but you saw it in the previous footage. There's also the waves, and it's the same thing. You just move out of the way of the waves and keep going through to the other side to be in place for your giant when they switch places. The biggest thing is you don't want to stand in the middle. Don't be in the middle, because if the giant's aggro to you and you're in the middle, then there's no way to do damage. As you get into the second phase, you have to do you're going to see this fireball where there's going to be 4 pillars and they each spew fireballs. And the best thing you can do is rotate to the side and then try and just follow either the walls or the center off to the other side and try to take as few hits as you can. This second phase is where a healing stone is going to pop up. You're going to see that they take the time to heal here. This is actually something we're going to try and avoid in the Elite Raid. The other ability you have here is the Lava Pool. The Lava Pool is actually the best time to heal, and not during the damage phase, but in this phase where you have nothing else you can do. Like if you're attacking them, you're going to take counterattack damage. And because in this phase there's only two abilities, the lava or the fireballs, you have a solid chance that the pool's going to become lava. So it's better to clump together and just keep that in mind, that there's a high likelihood that the floor is going to become lava. You're going to take damage every single second. So the tanks will keep the aggro off of you. So just follow the directions. Try to stay with your other DPS members as much as you can. That way when the lava comes together, all the tank has to do is go to you and he'll cover you guys all with a circle, and then you'll move together as one group. And the second half of the second phase, where there's only either fireballs or lava, that's you want to get don't get the healing at the beginning of that phase. We're going to get the healing at the end of that phase once the boss gets closer to less than half, almost 1/3, and there's going to be a lot of RNG because we don't know if it's going to be lava or fireballs. Fireballs are very hard to heal. Lava is very easy to heal, but in that time frame, we're going to try and get the heals, and there's not going to be anything better to do. That way, we're preparing for this third phase, because as you can see in this third phase, almost any of the 4 previous abilities can trigger, and there's going to be wind. The problem with the wind is that it will stop you from healing with the heal stone during the skill phase, because there's no way to trigger. The wind's just going to keep pushing your character off of it, so it can't stay on it long enough to heal. And there's no, unless it's an emergency, there's no sense in healing during the damage phase, because as you saw in this last phase, it costs the raid almost the entire phase. It took almost the entire phase to be able to trigger that healing stone, and that's damage that could have been done. You can see here it comes down to the wire because of that little individual incident. So anyways, that's our plan for tomorrow. Remember to have bring as many archers as you can. Only a handful of mage tanks are going to be on the other side. Cavalry is perfectly okay to bring also. And we're going to switch every single skill. And in the first, we're going to do call outs. So please try and be on the Discord card. In case you're not, keep this in mind. The first phase, you can either have the rotating waves, the waves going from one side of the map to the other, or you'll have the rotation of quadrants with the beams. And then when you get to the second phase, it's either going to be the random fireball from 4 pillars, or it will be the lava. If you get the fireballs, just move to the opposite side and you're good to go. And if you get the lava, then make sure you're together with your DPS group. The tank who has the aggro will come to you, and he'll lead you to one of the healing stones when it's time, or he'll just take you to the other side. We're going to try and get that healing stone once the boss is at half to a third of its health, to prepare us for the third phase where the wind kicks in, and we're just going to try and beat it down as fast as we can without having to heal. And we'll save the healing stone in case we absolutely get blasted in that third phase, but we're going to try and go without it. Thank you very much.